What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey.
I'm your host, Chris.
And like I said, we're on Get a Bucket. How's everything with you, bro?
My dog, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. You know how we do up here. Just got another game waiting for the fans. So
Yes, sir.
should we get right on into it? All
Let's
right,
do it.
that's a bet. That's a bet. Well, jump ball be coming moment soon, and quarter one will begin very soon. So hope you all enjoy.
DC the beat man. DC the beat man.
So epic.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. We're here to talk about the NBA draft. Is that good with you?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So I'm gonna just say for the NBA 2024 draft, shout out to Zachary Richeshe for being the number one draft pick by the Atlanta Hawks. All right, we gotta give a little love to Alexander Sarr as well. Alex Sarr was the number two draft pick going to the Washington Wizards. Now, after that, we had Reed Shepard going to going to the Rockets. Then we had Stephon Castle going to the Spurs, and then Ron Holland going to the Pistons. You said Zach was going to get selected number one, right? I went with a more so what I would prefer going with the Hawks, right? Um, so we don't need to talk about Zach or Alex because if y'all looked at the last episode, we kind of did talk about them pretty decently. And with all due respect to Reed Shepard as well too, so you might not hear him too much. But there were some interesting names outside of the top five. Um, did you have any people you want to focus on specifically?
Absolutely, I do.
And I'm gonna say this too: if you want to include people in your top five or that were drafted in the top five, you can do that as well. I'm just saying.
Um, I do got one person in mind.
Let's tell you what. Let's you say one. Let's do three then. Let's try and do three
Let's
real
do
quick.
three. Okay.
So let's snake draft it. So you start and I'll go
Okay.
after that, and you go. You go.
Okay. So, one of my my three is fit. So,
Just give one. Just give one. Yeah.
okay.
Say yeah.
My first one is Rob. Rob at Dillingham was a drafted by the Spurs, but got traded to in Minnesota. That's a home run hit. Like you need scoring. I said you need scoring depth off the bench, and Minnesota got a flame a flame throwing Rob. He got a good handle. He can take it to the cup, and he is a sniper from three. Whenever Mike Conley hangs it up, Rob can just slide in. I said slide in between him and Ant. That could be one of the nastiest, most young up and coming backcourts in the league for the next a decade or two.
Decade or two is crazy. Okay, but all right, that's cool. That's cool. Then so I do like Rob as well. I'm debating if I want to have him as my sixth man or my starting point guard, but that's another discussion for another day. Because again, I do like him. I do like his game. I do like the fit he has from on the Wolves team, and again, playing behind Conley, you can learn a lot. Um, my next person is, and I kind of gonna contradict myself from earlier. Reed Shepard, ladies and gentlemen, Reed Shepard. I gotta talk about Buddy, right? Because again, I was correct. I did say, I'm thinking about taking Reed number three, and he was the choice because of his shooting as well. But also in this, I get he's 6'1". The athleticism does come into play. If he can get that playmaking up, which I do believe he has the ability, and defense, which is about effort, which I think he will display, and he has the physical tools to do so. I think the Houston Rockets did a good job with this pick. This is a good fit. And now we could be wondering, hey, is he going to replace Fred Van Fleet? Because again, we're talking about playmaking and defense. If he's supposed to be an elite three-point shooter, Fred Van Fleet is that right now. Like everything I just described about Reed Shepard's potential, that's what Fred Van Fleet is. Now, the athleticism, the 42-inch vert, Fred don't have. So that could be a new element to the game that Reed could bring to this Rockets team. But I'm focusing on Reed Shepard because I think him on that Rockets team could be pretty entertaining or a key piece in a trade. So we got to wait and see. Who's your next one?
Mine is my Tennessee boy, Dalton. Dalton. I told him, but that's a talk about needs again. That was a pick and plug need that all Lakers damn sure need. Like, yeah, Lakers damn sure need. More shooting the better. Cool. Whatever. So I like the fit because he's older. He's a little bit taller. He can play the two or the three, or sometimes the small ball four. He's athletic as hell. And and I mean and they said he is the best pure catch and shoot shooter in this class. If you have not watched his Tennessee highlights, trust me, like fans, this was a good, good steal for us.
Only thing I gotta put a little question on is you say the best shooter pick up. I just want to say for record, I was told Reed Shepard was the best shooter. I don't care what type of shooting we're talking about in this draft class. So that's something that we're gonna have to study up on, see what happens, who's a better shooter between Dalton Connect and Reed Shepard. But we also talked about both of them on the last episode. So we were kind of fans of them, you know what I'm saying? Somebody we didn't talk about, Ron Holland. Ron Holland. Now
Yeah.
I talked before the season. I spoke about Ron Holland a little bit, and I wasn't as sold as I might be now because going to the G League. I mean, going to the Ignite team. He was their best player, inefficient, but okay. Like he's young, right? So for me, I think he'll be able to bring a toughness to the Pistons, and he's about 6'5", 6'6". So that's good height that you bring. I think we might be, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Cade Cunningham and Ron Holland as another Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum like duo. Because again, he's able to attack the basket.
Mm-hmm.
He's athletic enough.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me Jalen Brown out of Cal vibes, just a little bit better on the offense. So if he can reach to that potential, I think the Pistons might finally have something here. And we can be talking about them going to the playoffs finally. Like I said last year, that can become true potentially. But I'm looking at Ron Holland because he fits well there. So what you got for
My last one, my boy from Pittsburgh, another fit. What's his name?
me? You said flip.
Oh, my bad, Flip. This like the only time a Carolina fan is let it go on there and talk about a Duke player. But I don't know what's going on with Utah, but y'all do love y'all big man. A big man is shooting threes, huh? But no, all jokes aside,
Walker don't be shooting no threes, but go ahead.
anywho, no, this a good fit for Utah. Another pick a pop actual center that can execute three. Like Flip, he's a good on the boards. He's a decent, good shot blocker enough where he can play as your four, or he can be your backup five coming off the bench if Walter it gets into foul trouble. So Danny, I see what you're doing, but don't ever pick another do player again. Thank you.
I prefer Flip at power forward, but yes, he can play center. They're doing some interesting things over there in the Jazz squad, right? Um, a team that's doing some interesting things as well. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. But the Spurs getting Stephon Castle. Listen, they are about getting intangible players with good intangibles. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Buddy doesn't have to be the star of the team. And coincidentally, he's not going to be the star of the team. That's Wimby. So knowing that already, and I heard him too saying he just want to come in and do work. Mind you, all rookies say that, right? But we appreciate the fact that you at least saying it. Okay, I think he gonna go out and prove it because he did so at UConn. He did so at the championship game. He wasn't the leading scorer during the regular season. Turned it up in March Madness. So for me, knowing he's a two-way player, and we're talking about fit going forward, I'm looking to see how he pairs with the rest of the squad. Because you got a Jeremy Sokan out there, you got a Devin Vassell out there, you got players who can actually play with Wimby. But if he can showcase, he can be a future building block. I think we need to pay attention to that. So this is going to be the next two seasons for Castle. I'm curious if he's going to be able to make a home or a castle, I guess, in San Antonio. So that's my third person. I kind of like our list. I kind
I
of
do
like our
too.
list.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I'm curious if y'all can come up with a better listing of players to actually follow. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, and don't we're not including Bronny in this. Okay, let's not cheat. All right,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
trifling. Okay,
yeah. No.
let's be a little selective and not the first two picks. Okay, like let's be a little decent. But the buzzer did just go off. So we're gonna take a quick little hiatus, come right back, pay some bills. But when we come back though, we definitely got more basketball to talk about. So you good?
I'm groovy.
All right, that's groovy. Okay, old school, the cool. All right, we'll be back after a moment from our sponsors. Peace.
The I'm Perfectly Made Foundation believes that routine screenings can save lives and that access to these services should not be a barrier. Our mission is to promote eye health education, free eye exams, free eye screenings, and free glasses to our communities with the focus of highlighting early detection. The I'm Perfectly Made Foundation also gives individuals with low vision and blindness the opportunities to be a part of certain community events regardless of visual impairments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Listen, for starters, you're gonna stop that fouling. I'm tired of your ass. You understand me? Like,
Hey, hey,
ref, you got to start calling his
hey,
hacks. I'm telling you,
hey,
bro, this is
look,
trifling work.
hey, look. Y'all want to say, y'all got a good stock. We always going to have at the better college a player stock. Y'all got the pros, but we got y'all in
I'm
college.
crying. I'm crying. So listen. Speaking about college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, during the college season, my boys had a wonderful run. Um, and I actually liked the season. I liked the team construction. I liked the cohesion we had. Could have been a little bit better result production, but it happens, right? Um, Jared McCain came up on a couple of occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, ladies and gentlemen, he comes from good stock. You understand me? The boy comes from good stock. But he had a couple of, I guess, controversial, peep the air quotes, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, controversial TikTok performances, social media performances. He just danced on social media and put a video up there, right? But folks was paying attention to his fingernails painted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. I'm gonna say it off the break. I don't really care about your fingernails painted to keep it a buck with you. Like you gonna get a bucket. Do what you need to do. That's my personal opinion. I'll let you speak on it. What's your stance on the fingernail paint? Like,
Um, I mean, I agree with you. Like, he's a grown man. Uh, now he's an NBA player. Um, it's one of those things. It's like if you feel comfortable getting them done
mm,
and still get a bucket, do what the hell you please. It's not plain and simple. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna say for like the draft classes, if like back in the day, we didn't have no issues like that.
Mhm.
But this is a whole different this is a whole different breed. And some people do stuff that all going to be con- and questionable, but
Mhm.
that's them living their life.
Yeah.
So like if if we don't have a problem with it, then I guess like it should not be that big of an issue.
But the crazy thing is though, I feel like it's gonna come up in conversations. I feel like it's gonna come up during the summer, during the off season. Like it's gonna come up so often, bro. And it's gonna be annoying because now I y'all are focusing on this man's fingernails. Like again, he said he brought it up like or he got asked about like with the like why what's the inspiration? And he said, okay, well, Jordan Clarkson, he saw do it, and then he tried it, and then he kept it going. And this was during the beginning of COVID, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm,
So it seems to be something that he likes. So if it works for you, cool. And again, I'm a testament to say, Buddy was hooping his ass off last year for
mm-hmm.
us. So, and I'm very surprised he only 6'1" too, because I thought he was 6'4". Again, he was rebounding the hell out the ball. So the fact that he was able to rebound the ball at 6'1", he is a little scrappy. He does show a lot of heart. And again, that's a fella with his fingernails painted. Again, like back in the day, if you were a dude with fingernails painted on the basketball court, maybe outside of like Dennis Rodman, you might get chastised. Like back in the day, that was like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but it's a different day and age. And fingernails painted, toenails painted, it does not stop you from getting a bucket, like
Bucket,
you said.
damn right.
So I hope it don't have too much traction out there. But I did want to talk about it because I know it's going to get traction out there. So I do at least want to give Jordan a little love out there and some support to at least show you, you know what, not everyone's going to be ignorant about it again.
Hey, get a bucket, my brother.
Exactly. And look, there are grown men out there that get manis and petties. All right? I got some homeboys that were talking about getting a clear coat just about a couple days ago. You hear me? So like, and they are straight. Okay, trust me. So it's not an issue with getting fingernails paint or particularly getting your fingernails painted. Whether you're straight, whether you're like, it does not matter who
It
you
don't
are.
matter.
It does not matter in the game of basketball, especially. So, but you got to be comfortable. But as y'all just heard, ladies and gentlemen, I think the buzzer had just sounded, um, unfortunately. But that was a good little conversation. So we can head to halftime, come right back, pay some bills. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will have much more to talk about. So hope y'all stay tuned. Hooping is an activity that can be enjoyed by all. It's a team game about getting and stopping buckets. Everyone's always rushing to the goal. Well, make sure to rush and watch Team Gold Rush, one of the best teams in the Special Olympics of Virginia. Team Gold Rush even has former NBA All-Star participants on the team. Clearly, they've struck gold. Ready to suit up and practice? I know. We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Practice still makes perfect. So when the opponent starts hitting their shots, Team Gold Rush can bounce back due to their training. Remember, offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. Watch us get a bucket and rush for the gold. We aim to be that gold standard. So want a team where you can win and have fun? Team Gold Rush is your number one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Listen, Chris, like, all right, so you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so answer me this, bro. Do you need your NBA players? Do you need your players to have emotion? Like, unless let's use for example, when because the draft, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you need your players to show emotion
Oh,
during the draft?
absolutely, absolutely.
So they can't just be chill, cool.
Mm.
Because again, we got images now. You know, like people still got like they got to manage their brand and whatnot. So maybe they trying to be cool, calm, collected. Like, what's up? Nah, I mean, like, I just want to shout out all my fans and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they come at you like that, like as opposed to somebody Like I don't know. Like you need players to be more like the second person.
I mean, honestly, like piggyback on what you just said, like the players, you need emotion. It doesn't matter what sport you play. Like if
So
you don't have any type of emotion
Mm-hmm.
while you was out there,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna call you soft.
Well, let's look at the draft, right? Let's look at the draft, for example. Again, going back to the points that I had earlier. Do you want them to just kind of talk and answer questions, or do you look for players who are probably going to cry and show that
A
passion,
mix
show
of
that
both.
emotion? Okay,
A
so
mix of both.
it's not, it doesn't sound like it's a requirement. So
Nah,
if your player does, then do you feel like you're going to keep them around?
absolutely.
Okay, because so I look at it like this: if my player shows me emotion at the NBA draft, and maybe I'm looking at it a little differently than you, I'm going to take note of that
That
and
they
possibly
are
put forth a little bit more resources into them, because I think they're going to care more about the game than somebody else will. Like everybody has talent when you enter the league,
that part.
but the caring aspect is what separates folks. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, like let's use a player like Matas, right? You were higher on Matas than I was. I wasn't the biggest fan, but what I saw and heard was, hey, he might be one of the best professionals in this class. And that goes a long way. So if he has those sorts of intangibles, I think I changed my tune about Matas just off of seeing Buddy crying. You know what I'm saying? Like Alexander Sarr, I believe he's actually going to be a solid defensive presence at minimum for the Wizards, just because Buddy is crying. Now we'll see what happens with those two players specifically. But like again, when I see that, I got that feeling that kind of helped me out going forward. Using those two as examples, do you feel the same way I do, or do you differ at all?
With Matt's situation and it's to the viewers out there, and I think we didn't know about this. He is a Chicago kid.
Mm,
He is a homegrown as a Chicago kid. So being drafted is one thing, but being drafted by your home team,
mm-hmm,
it's a whole lot of different emotions that follow it because
mm-hmm,
he was a Bulls kid growing up.
mm-hmm,
So I can see why he was trying to hold in his crime because he got inside himself because like not not only he could just play for his hometown team, but his parents and his family don't have to go that far and watch him play. So it's a different type of emotion when you get drafted or being like the number one pick or like a top five pick,
mm-hmm.
but getting drafted by your home team, that's a whole nother emotion that people don't even talk
Yeah, like there's a world where you can say he possibly, in terms of like all the draftees, right?
about. Mm-hmm.
He probably won the draft in terms of fit
Yes,
because his lifestyle, he don't have to change it.
he
He's
really don't.
been there. So again,
Right.
you know, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like to have my players have a little emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and I don't care whether you going at your hometown or not. Like if you cry, you cool with me. Like I'm good with that. I need to see a little emotion. I don't need you just answering something like a robot. But some of them robots can get a bucket too. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the buzzer did just end. You know what I'm saying? We gotta call it a little quitsies right now. But it's okay though. It's okay though. We'll be back. We'll be back after a moment from our sponsors.
Sports is one of the few things that genuinely connects us together. Whether with coworkers, friends, family, we all love the entertainment. Well, here on Get a Bucket, my goal is to talk about sports and its cultural impact. The WNBA, for example. The WNBA is loads of entertainment. From the new rookies battling, displaying their skill sets, and preparing to take the league by storm, to the titans and the MVPs of the league clashing for battles we'll always remember. From imagining the soon-to-be possibilities, to admiring and treasuring the finales. Get a Bucket is a platform where other sports analysts, hoopers, coaches, and fans of the show come and talk about the WNBA, both negatives and positives. So if you haven't, take a quick peek. At the very least, you'll have a good time. Remember, sports is one of the few things that genuinely connects us together. So please, tune in and stay connected.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Listen, all right. So at first, I had thought about. I ain't gonna hold you. Thought about putting on the jersey, right? Because we do got to talk about our Lakers.
Yeah.
But with Bronny's expectations, right? But I'm not trying to be too critical of the young boy. You know what I'm saying? The young man. But I do feel like I need to get a drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In hand, right? So,
Yes, sir.
but
Salute.
here's the thing, too, ladies and gentlemen. I also got some water to make sure I stay hydrated. Shout out to my guy Gene out there from Sasosu Water. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing though. I'm gonna finish with that though. Anyways, so Bronny drafted in the second round. Folks are complaining about nepotism. Chris, do you have an issue with us drafting Bronny and him potentially being looked at as the new face of nepotism now?
Um, you know, when Boston passed up on him, I already knew that we was going to draft him. It everybody was saying, oh, oh no, like he was going to do his own path and all that. Man, cut the crap,
Mhm.
cut the cap. All right, LeBron will be damned if he don't play with his son. I don't care. You can argue with your mama, argue with your cousin, argue, argue with your daddy, or or your coach. This is something that we will never ever seen again in the league. So everybody want Bass on Braun and all of that. Cool, round of applause. But what what Bronny is doing now, you tell me one other Hall of Fame player that would have the guts guts that he did to play with his own kid. And to me, like
I, I, I,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Like
I'm gonna stop you right there on that. I think there's a lot of players who would have the guts to play with their own kids. Like, if you mean to tell me if Gilbert Arenas could play 20 seasons, I think he would have the guts to play with his own kid. I think the issue now is going to be the expectations on Bronny because of who his dad is and us drafting him. Folks are saying, oh, he stole a roster spot. Not he worked hard and achieved a roster spot. Not that he worked hard and was drafted, but he stole a roster spot is the narrative. So he's gonna
he
have
got
to
to work
work.
for it. He
He's gonna
got to
he's
work
gonna
for it.
have to work extremely hard. Which ironically, I did make a post a couple years ago about. It was a quote where somebody said Braun's favorite quote or one of Braun's quotes is "earn, not given." So that ironically is applying now, and I chose Bronny as the picture back then too because they both were working out, and he's been working. So my expectation of Bronny is is low because again we have so many holes to fill right now.
Yes,
Now
a
when I
lot
say
of
hole
food.
when I say holes, I mean like just from a roster standpoint because
Yes,
JJ's coaching, so we got to figure out who he has to figure out who he thinks is best for where, right? I don't know if he's gonna assume Bronny is gonna make that roster spot like right now. He could go to the G League. Like I could expect that. Like develop into a solid player. There's nothing wrong with that at all. He could still come back in the regular season at some point in time. But those are my expectations of Bronny James right now. I mean, well,
uh, it, at the same thing with me. Like the the G League is his safe. is a safe route ever now.
Mhm.
Maybe a two-way contract here and there, but like the G League is your way to go now because we haven't, like you said, he not only we have holes to fill as a team in the organization, but he also has fields. He also have holes to like work on too. Like be be more of a good passer, be more of a good leader, be more of a shooter. We we know you got to bounce for days, but
I think he's a good shooter. He was he came into college as a shooter, so I mean at the McDonald's All American he shot the ball pretty decently. Like I think Buddy is gonna be a solid shot. I think he'll be a solid prospect for us. I'm curious if he's going to get the same or worse treatment that Lonzo got. Like Bronny versus Lonzo Ball. And I'm not talking about as talents. I'm talking about as
people.
yeah, like no, not people, like focus. Because remember when Lazar was talking about, oh well, Lonzo better than Steph Curry, Lonzo da 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 da. All right, well that's cool. Game one, Patrick Beverly sits up there and pushes him to the ground.
Damn right.
So are folks going to be going at Bronny the same way? Because there could be some resentment. Like look at how people are talking about Caitlin Clark and treating Caitlin Clark. They
The
feel like
same.
they feel like they are pushing her and shoving her and all this other stuff. Well, maybe there's some resentment there. That's what people are saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could we see the same thing with Bronny?
You
Like,
you can you can
I,
you can. I could. I'm not
I
going to
hope
say
not.
like
I hope not.
I mean I hope not too, but for your name to be talked about for this long of a time,
Hmm.
people is going to give you the work on the court, but as a human being, like we're not going to slander you, but like you,
Folks are going to slander him. I ain't gonna hold you. Folks are going to slander him. And let me throw this out there too. So let's say it doesn't work out with Bronny, right? Again, I'm pulling for Bronny, but let's say it doesn't
me
work
too.
out. 2 years from now, folks are talking about potentially the Lakers being in a position to draft Bryce James. And let's say LeBron's still in good shape and still wants to play basketball and is still producing at like a top 30 player. And he's willing to take a little pay cut. All we got to do is draft Bryce James. How do you feel?
By then, damn, like I wish by then, I hope that we are somewhat contenders, somewhat contenders. I mean, would it be a nice story to end Bron's career? Absolutely yes, but again, like we still got a lot of holes, a lot of holes,
Mm,
and exit field long.
okay. Okay. I would be curious about drafting Bryce. I would be a little hesitant, but again, that's also because of LeBron's age. Like I'm not trying to bank on a aging superstar. I didn't want to do that from jump, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel it too. Like although we have just created the father son pairing in the NBA, so what doing two? I don't know. Like I don't know what it really does for the NBA at that point in time. It's a good story, but we've already seen this happen. But maybe if Bryce is good enough. But we got to wait and see what happens though. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the buzzer did just end. So our tracking of Bronny, at least our talking of Bronny, has got to come to a conclusion. But we'll be following Bronny because again, he's on our Lakers as we drafted him. Hence why we drinking. But it's out of celebration though, not because of see. I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to act like we drinking because we disappointed. I'm actually excited, but it got good potential for me. But after I drink this, probably gonna parlay this to Sosu water. So I mean, you got anything you wanna You got anything you want to say before we close up shop?
Welcome, rookies. Welcome. We see y'all in at Summer League.
All right. Talking about some rookies. That's cool. That's cool.
What about you?
WNBA, let's go ahead and try to create a winter league. You know, since he talking about summer league for the NBA, let's talk about a winter league for the WNBA.
Please,
It'd
please,
be cool. It'd
please.
be cool. I'd like to see it. But yeah, I'd like to see that personally. But also, I'd like to see y'all like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey.
I'm your boy Chris.
We're the hosts of Get a Bucket. Hope you all are having a wonderful one. Take care.
Care.